you. I rise in support of Chairman Womack's Republican en bloc amendment, which includes one of my amendments, and this amendment is a straightforward, common sense amendment and is long overdue. My amendment is simple. Not $1 of federal transportation and housing funds made available by this act shall go to any local jurisdiction that refuses to notify the Department of Homeland Security in advance of the scheduled release of an illegal alien in their custody. That's it. Just tell DHS when you're releasing a criminal alien so federal agents can do their job. If you won't do that, if you will actively hide that information and let dangerous individuals walk out the door before ICE can act, then you do not deserve the hard-earned federal taxpayer dollars of the American people. Sanctuary policies continue to devastate our nation. Innocent Americans going to work, driving their children to school, living their lives, killed by illegal aliens who had already been in local custody or who were already known to law enforcement and who were released back onto our streets without so much as a phone call to federal immigration authorities. These are real families torn apart by tragedies that were entirely preventable. Each and every life taken by an illegal alien in this country is a preventable death. They should not be here in the first place. And when local governments actively obstruct federal law enforcement from doing their jobs, they become complicit in whatever follows. President Trump understood this. That is why, on April the 28th of last year, he signed an executive order protecting American communities from criminal aliens, making clear that the obstruction of federal immigration enforcement by state and local officials is, in his words, a lawless insurrection against the supremacy of federal law. The order directed the Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security to identify sanctuary jurisdictions and take action to cut off their federal funding. My amendment puts that same principle directly into this appropriations bill. Let me be clear about what my amendment does and does not require. It does not mandate that localities hold illegal aliens indefinitely. It does not require that local law enforcement to act as federal immigration agents. All it requires is a phone call. Advance notice of when a particular illegal alien is going to be released. That is the bare minimum of cooperation with the federal government. That is the least a jurisdiction can do to keep our communities safe. And if they refuse even that, then they should not receive federal funds. Democrats will tell you this is cruel. They'll tell you this is un-American. But let me tell you what is cruel and un-American. Shielding criminal illegal aliens from deportation at the expense of innocent citizens. Letting a violent offender walk out of a local jail without giving ICE a chance to pick them up. That is cruel. That is un-American. That is what sanctuary policies do, day after day in jurisdictions across this country. The federal government's authority over immigration is not a suggestion. Local officials do not get to pick and choose which federal laws they will honor, and Congress has both the authority and the obligation to use the power of the purse to enforce that principle. Remember, states officially ceded that authority to the federal government back in 1789 when they ratified the Constitution. Every member of this body has a choice to make today. You can stand with the American people, with the families who have lost loved ones to preventable crimes, with the communities that deserve safe streets, with a president who is fighting every single day to restore the rule of law, or you can stand with the sanctuary politicians who put illegal aliens first and American citizens last. I urge my colleagues to support this amendment. Let us send a clear message that if you refuse to cooperate with federal law enforcement, if you actively obstruct the deportation of criminal illegal aliens, you will not see another federal dollar from this bill. And I yield back